Thank you so much. So, Gabi, let me start with a bit of an appreciation. Thank you so much for squeezing us in. I'm sure your schedule is super tight, so I just really appreciate that you made it happen.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, so obviously I have some, preset questions in front of me because there are so many things I want to talk about with you. But for the audience, if you could introduce Aeven in really a nutshell, just a few sentences, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. So Aeven is a Danish IT company that focuses on critical infrastructure. Our clients are purely Danish. We only serve Danish customers, but we operate globally. Our operation runs in 4 countries right now, so obviously Denmark, then we have Philippines as offshore, and our nearshore locations are Czech Republic and now Hungary. We are focusing on customers in public sector, health and life science. We have financials, institutions and enterprises. And in a nutshell, I always say that we run the Danish society because we are focusing on a critical infrastructure. So if something really goes off, Danish people are in trouble.
Thank you for the intro. So you already mentioned Hungary, and I'm aware this is a new office here. So would you mind telling us or walk us through what was kind of decision-making process there? So how did you end up choosing Hungary over other low-cost countries, and whether it is rather an extension of the existing offices, or is it something that you want to outsource, or what's the idea behind?
Well, you can imagine that IT market is tight in every single country. So obviously the biggest motivation behind opening somewhere else is to get access to IT professionals. And then we have been on this project for many years. Actually, we are monitoring constantly if other countries might be relevant for us. But the decision-making process behind Hungary was actually that we were looking for extension in the nearshore operation. So it has to be or had to be EU country. The reason is that we are in a very regulated industry, so data sensitivity and how we handle data is extremely important to our customers. The other elements behind that, except for the enlarging the market of IT professionals, was that we believe that Hungary is very similar to culturally to Czech Republic, and that is something.
It is true. Yeah,
that is actually something that we know works well with the Danish customers. We have proven record of at least a decade. So that was one, and the proximity of the nearshore location here is very good. So if we need to get our people quickly to the customers, you can be there within an hour. That was also an element. Of course, the attractiveness of the cost element was there, I'm not saying, but it was not the main driver behind that. Plus, actually, the advantage was that Hungarian government actually supports you financially if you invest into the country. So, lots of other things. What was a cherry on top, that we have one enormous customer lately, and their operation is partially covered from Hungary. So we also believe that taking over the customers might actually give us access to the knowledge that the people already have in the market.
Okay, thank you. It's really interesting, and thank you so much for the summary, and also just to give us a bit of an understanding and a context there. And what I overheard is you always say we, and I do feel that through the social, through everything. So do you think, or did you feel, or do you feel that TA/HR is a strategic partner along the way, either in the decision making or in recruitment? Or
definitely in Aeven. I know that it doesn't have to be necessarily the case in every single company. And it might be that different disciplines in people and culture are, of course, doesn't have the same validity in that sense. But talent acquisition is definitely something that Aeven takes extremely seriously, because our business is actually based on the people we have, and actually TA is the one who's bringing those people in. So it is extremely important that that function works extremely well. That the end-to-end process is streamlined, super fast. Experience is positive for the clients. I mean, candidates in this sense. So yes, it is a strategic.
It's really music to my ears because it's definitely not common based on my experience. So it's just amazing to see how you operate on this level too. So a little bit about the recruitment side of things. So I think it's not new information that you outsourced your recruitment and decided to not have it in house. Why you have decided to have that in the first place, and what was the reason for that?
I think it's obvious. I mean, we were entering a new market and none of us actually has an experience with it. So, even though we have some Hungarians obviously working in the company and we were working with advisors from Hungarian side, you simply don't know the market. You don't know how to behave. And every mistake that you do at the beginning, that simply costs you a lot of time and money. So euros, that was the main reason, plus the ramp-up situation, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And were there any pain points at all in recruitment that you thought, besides having that local knowledge, etc., you would also get out from having an RPO provider? Would it solve some of your problems?
Not in that sense, but of course, it was actually important which partner we choose. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we ended up with you guys, MPS, was that, first of all, you offered a package that was super important to us. So it was the knowledge of how the market behaves. You have a track record of the recruitment services. We also cooperate on the marketing side of things, but also, of course, we were deciding it between many different partners. And the reason why we trusted MPS is actually also the owners behind it, because I don't know if you know.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
I don't know if you know the guys, but I mean, it gives you the feeling that they want to be a success, and we really want it to be a success. While I'm not saying that the other companies didn't offer similar services, of course they did, but the feeling that we got from MPS that you really would walk us through a successful period, that was the decision-making point.
For the audience, I brought some numbers here because I think it's interesting. So we have 2 senior consultants and 2 senior sourcers embedded into Aeven's hiring ecosystem. And seeing at the numbers, so back in November, I think this is when it was kicked off, right? So the recruitment side of things. So the team managed to source 2,800 candidates, and 45% were interested talking to us all, which is already a pretty good number. And seeing that 10% entered the first technical round just tells me so many things. But most and foremost, that the recruitment team is great. So I do feel, it's not just a feeling, it's a fact. It's backed with data. So both the hiring manager communication, how they really truly embedded the Aeven culture and how they represent Aeven on the market, it just really colorates and comes together. That leads me towards the recruitment marketing that we also provide as the package or as a solution. Before I would move to the numbers, to the recruitment marketing part, have you ever had a doubt, or have you had any other providers that were like, okay, we're not just gonna give you the RPO, but we also able to support with recruitment marketing? Or is it something that you saw on the market? Like, is it available at the moment in Hungary?
I think we came across a similar setup. But before we go into the marketing, one more thing I want to add on the RPO as such. You have mentioned that, and the numbers are impressive, obviously. The reason why it works so well is the professional approach on MPS side and the expertise in the field. But at the same time, it is the matureness of the process that we have inside. And if you then bring a partner who is really expert in RPO, it's very easy to click from the first day, and it basically you can go and run because you just tell them, this is our process, this is what we want from you, and they know the work. So then
so you don't have to
it's very
spoon feed
easy,
them,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
It's easy. Yeah.
That's definitely a different fundamental things to set you up for success. Okay, so recruitment marketing. Little bit of the data there too. So in the past 60 days, we managed to generate 500k views, 7k plus post engagement, and 200 plus new followers. Have you ever came across these numbers yet? Because I think it's coming your way, right? I just spilled the tea here, I think. But what do you think about it? It's just within 2.5 months.
Well, I think that it is obvious that we have entered a new market. Nobody knows us here.
Yeah.
If you say Aeven now, it's better than when you said Aeven back in November. So it has to go hand in hand. Otherwise, the recruiters can do whatever they want to. If the people cannot then track the company and don't have the trust that you would offer them a continuous career development and stability, they're not gonna be bothered, right? So the marketing situation that we have with you is actually helping us to build. So it's kind of feeding the recruitment part, right? And yes, we do lots of things that are basically just building on the things that we do the best. That is taking care of our people, and that's kind of spins its wheel itself.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. And I remember our very first conversation in that meeting room when we were talking about the importance of the recruiters' influence. It's just how they behave or how do they talk to candidates, because that really makes a difference. And as you already mentioned, our recruiters, hopefully everyone, are just the ones who know how to operate on the operational level, and they also know how to be a strategic partner along the way, and they understand the different bits and pieces, how it clicks together. So as someone who have been in a business quite some time, and you managed RPO transaction and implementation, and also been involved in employer branding and recruitment marketing, do you have like a key takeaway that, or an advice that you would tell someone who's entering this phase of their life?
Meaning looking for RPO, considering. I mean, who you select as a partner is definitely critical. You need to understand that in ideal case, you are hiring an expert in that field, and it can save you a lot of headaches. So actually, to really prepare and know what you want, so you select the correct partner who actually has the experience with it. Because, I mean, the plans also change quite a bit, right? You start with certain number and certain plans, but that
might change.
2 months later changes 10 times, right? So you also need that partner who knows this is going to be changing. This is a very dynamic environment, and there are lots of dependencies, right? But also understanding that even though lots of people say that recruitment is a partially luck, to a certain extent, but you need to be very prepared for that. And the preparation comes with the hard work and understanding the process and really going that extra mile. And if something is not working, you just need to go straight in. So not to wait whether that's going to come better or whatever.
Yeah.
You just,
or
when
just
you see a
escalating,
problem, you just address it. The partner's going to help you. You figure out a different approach, different way of strategy, and you can react quickly. That's that. You're always gonna find, because we have the RPOs here, we have the RPO also in Czech Republic right now, because as I said, we are in ramp up. There are many things you cannot perceive. You can also have a wrong person that simply doesn't resonate. It didn't happen in Hungary, it happened in Czech, where we had a person in the recruitment where simply that didn't work. Sometimes it simply
like
doesn't click.
Personality, knowledge.
And then again, you don't wait around. You just go again, address it with the partner. So you need to have very strong expertise on the other side, because then you can just manage it in the way that, okay, this is what I need, this is what I'm getting, black and white type of thing. But really do the research, ask around. We have spent lots of time actually talking to clients, other companies here in the Hungarian market to get references. That is valid, because the reputation is also important.
Yeah, especially on such a tiny single market that we have here. Okay, thank you so much again for your time today and for answering the questions and just
it was a pleasure.
be here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.